Charlie Munger, the billionaire, once said the first $100,000 is a bitch. His word, not mine. And he was right. But here's the part he left out. It's also the last number you'll ever really have to fight for, because 100 grand is the line where something quietly flips. Up until here, you have been the engine. You save, you sacrifice, you push the money uphill, dollar by dollar. At 100,000, the money stops needing you to push. It starts moving on its own. Today, I'm being you again. Not broke you, not 10 grand you, six-figure you. And I'm going to show you the 4 things that change when your money starts outworking you. Because your first 100,000 isn't about being rich. It's the moment you stop pushing the boulder and the boulder starts rolling downhill with you on top of it. Change 1. The crossover. There is a single specific day, and you will not feel it when it happens, where your money earns more in a year than you can save in a year. That's the crossover, and everything is different on the other side of it. Think about what saving has been your whole life. You earn a paycheck, you claw back a few $100, you put it away. The growth on what you'd already saved? A rounding error. For years, you are the entire engine. Every dollar in that account got there because you carried it there. Now, run the numbers at 100 grand. $100,000, growing at a normal 7%, earns you $7,000 in a year for doing nothing. If you're saving, say, $600 a month, that's $7,200 a year of your own sweat. Look at those two numbers. They just crossed. For the first time, the money is pulling almost as hard as you are. That's the crossover. The day your money's quiet 7,000 catches up to your loud, exhausting 7,200. Nobody sends you a card, but that is the day you stopped being the only one working. Change 2. The snowball. Because once the money is pulling its own weight, it doesn't just match you, it starts to pull ahead. Here's the thing about the crossover. It's not a finish line, it's a switch. The 7,000 your money earned this year, next year it's earning on 107, then 115. The growth starts growing. The same 100 grand, left completely alone at 7%, doesn't stay 100 grand. It quietly becomes 200,000 in about a decade, while you sleep, while you work, while you forget it's even there. And this is exactly why Munger called the first 100,000 a bitch. The beginning is all push and no roll. You're shoving the boulder up a flat road and it feels like it'll never move on its own. But the boulder doesn't need to reach the top of the hill to start helping you. It just needs to reach the tipping point. 100 grand is that tipping point. So that's change 2. $100,000 doesn't make me rich. It makes me the owner of something that finally works the night shift so I don't have to. Change 3. The exit. And this is the one you feel in your chest, not your spreadsheet. 10 grand bought me a floor. I stopped being one surprise from 0. 100 grand buys me something bigger. An exit. A year, maybe 2, of my whole life sitting in an account. Down at 10 grand, I could walk away from a bad deal. At 100 grand, I can walk away from a bad job, a bad boss, a bad city. The cushion didn't just get bigger. It changed what I'm allowed to want. I can wait out a layoff instead of taking the first desperate thing. I can say, I'll start the business, I'll take the risk, I'll wait for the right one, because I'm not negotiating with a gun to my head anymore. A year of runway changes the math on every decision I'll ever make. That's change 3, and it's the big one. $100,000 doesn't make me rich. It makes me unbothered. And an unbothered person is impossible to trap. Change 4. The new trap. Because the danger doesn't disappear at 100 grand. It just changes shape, and the new one is sneakier than the old one. When I was broke, the enemy was obvious: fees, fragility, the surprise that wiped me out. At 100 grand, that enemy is gone, so my brain goes looking for a reward, and the world is very happy to sell me one. The nicer car, the bigger apartment, the I've earned it. This is where the climb quietly kills most people, not at the bottom, at exactly this comfortable, dangerous middle. Here's the cruel trick. Every dollar I let my lifestyle grow is a dollar that doesn't compound. Spend the snowball, and it stops being a snowball. The people who get stuck at 100 grand forever aren't unlucky. They hit the crossover, felt comfortable, and quietly turned the engine back off. So that's change 4. $100,000 doesn't make me rich. It makes me free. But only if I don't immediately sell that freedom back for a nicer version of the life I already have. So here's the part that should change how you see your own account. You've been told the goal is $1 million. It isn't. Not really. The hardest, most important number you will ever hit is this one, the first 100,000. After this, the boulder is rolling. Getting to 200 is mostly just not getting in the way. The first 100 grand is the only one you truly carry. Everyone after it carries you. That's why Munger called it a bitch and then said get there as fast as you possibly can. Not because $100,000 is a lot of money, it isn't. Not really. But because it's the exact point where money stops being something you make and starts being something that makes more of itself. And once the snowball is rolling, here's where it goes. At $1 million, this same thing happens one more time, but the snowball becomes an avalanche, big enough that it can carry your whole life without you adding another dollar. You don't get the avalanche without the snowball first, but the snowball starts here at 100 grand. $100,000 will not make you rich. I keep saying that, episode after episode, and it keeps being true. But it is the moment the game changes, where you stop pushing, the money starts rolling, and for the first time, the math is finally on your side instead of in your way. So the only question that matters, are you still the one pushing? Or have you crossed the line where it starts pushing back, for you? And once it does, what happens at $1 million, when the snowball becomes an avalanche? That's where we're going next.